Well, hello there. It's Eric O'Sullivan, Reverend Sully, the irreverent Reverend of all things geeky, the anti Pope and guru of Xanadu, ordained on the internet the 31st of March 1998. And yeah, how are you today? Oh, it's a good cup of coffee. It's called Tanzanian pea berry. It's from Africa and it's a medium roast. I love a good cup of coffee. I went to a Comic-Con yesterday. I'm so happy. I'm so pleased. I wanted to take a few minutes to gush about my experience at the Wicked Boston Comic-Con 2022. It was a small con. It was at the first floor of the Westin Hotel at the Seaport, which is a new neighborhood. It's like someone cut and pasted a block of Chicago and dropped it, in Boston, and it was so fun. I brought my first best friend ever, Brian Massey. His birthday was Friday, April 8th. And the con was yesterday, Saturday, April 9th. And we made plans for this. So we went out to eat first at my pub, and which was really awesome. And then we went to the con together. And I've known him probably since I was 3 and he was 2, or maybe even like 4 and 3. I mean, I don't remember childhood without him. And I'm an only child and very blessed to have him in my life. And it was really nice that it was like the old magic. It was just like, it was just very comfortable, very awesome. I'm very blessed, very blessed. And it was such a good experience. But not only were the cosplayers awesome, I spent about literally $102 on comic books that I've already owned. And isn't that the point of going to a con? Yeah, I mean, I picked up some floppies. I'm so happy to be reunited with old friends. Oh my goodness, let's get to it. This is a good story. This is, I always loved this cover because it was so kind of wrong. Like, what happened? Like, I was a kid. I knew what that word meant. These were adventures that happened between Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. I got actually 3 of these 60-cent era comics from the Marvel. I mean, the 60-cent era was my wheelhouse. So yeah, that's a Walt Simonson cover, and he does the interior art. Luke accidentally gets a fellow rebel killed, and everyone back at the base hates him. So it's a really interesting story. And just, yeah, I just thumbed through it real quickly, and it just brought back lots of memories, especially the ads. We'll even just go through it, but let's go through the stack first. This is issue 69. This might seem completely rando to you. Look, I got it for $15, which seems to be like the medium price on quality, good condition comics. The thing is, issue 68 is more famous, and it goes for $250 in all the bins and in all the shelves at the con. $250 was the going price for Marvel Star Wars Volume 1, issue number 68. The introduction of Fen Shisha, the first Mandalorian stories. It was a 2-parter. This is part 2. And a lot less. So I get the rest of the story. And maybe one day I'll get issue 68 again. I had both of these as a kid. Old friends come home to stay with me. Now this issue here is wicked pissa in the vernacular of my Boston people. This is issue 78. This is a survival tale of Wedge Antilles and what happened to him after the Battle of Hoth. What happened to Wedge? Well, don't you want to find an omnibus and buy one used to find out? It's a great story, and I'll leave it there. I mean, but what do you think happened to Wedge after the Battle of Hoth? Look at this cover. I mean, the events of this cover resemble the events of the story. It's a good survival tale. As we all know, Wedge lives. If you saw, Rise of Skywalker, he keeps going. Now, this is the one that I spent the most money on. Maybe I'll put in the videos below my Crisis long box. I used to have a curation, and I used to care really deeply about the DC universe, the DC multiverse, and the Crisis stories, starting with Crisis on Infinite Earths from 1985 when I was a kid. I was 12 going on 13, and so I was 12 years old when this came out, and this is the first appearance of Superboy Prime, who ended up being one of my favorite all-time bad guys under the pen of Jeff Johns later on in the mid double aughts, the 2000s. And yeah, I've been looking for this for years. I wanted this. I saw it. I was like, that's a good price. I got a home for you. And that's it. So I'm looking forward to rereading this, cracking this open. Now look at this one. It was a special Crisis crossover, and that was $1.25. And the 60-cent era, but this was actually, I think, just went up to 75 cents an issue. But yeah, I'm very pleased to have this. This is great. Okay, now my signatures. I got 2 signatures on Artist Alley. We had the opportunity to meet Klaus Johnson, the famous inker of Frank Miller, and other, he's just legendary Marvel. Klaus is just legend, and I'm so blessed to have been able to have had a moment to converse with him. And also Larry Hama. You might know him from the Wolverine comic books of the 90s, but before that he wrote every issue of G.I. Joe, Marvel's G.I. Joe. I think Herb Trimpe helped out here and there, but that was all Larry Hama. And got to meet Larry Hama for a minute, and so I got their autographs. So I found this old friend that I had way back then. I had all 4 of them, but for $15 I got The Dark Knight Falls, which is issue 4 of The Dark Knight 1, The Dark Knight Returns 1, what we know is the Frank Miller, Dark Knights. Look at that down low right there. That's book 4. It went for $2.95 back in 1986. I love that color. I mean, I love this magazine. I mean, there's no ads. It's look at the back. I mean, this is the stuff that we don't see anymore. Like I love. Every issue had a single panel and its quote. So yeah, so I got this for Klaus Johnson to sign. And while I was waiting for Klaus Johnson to sign this, I took a chance to get out of line real quick, which Brian, held my place in line, which was cool. There was no one behind us, but that was we were blessed. I ran to the nearest long box, looked up Daredevil. Okay, I had this comic book when I was a child. I read it so much that its cover fell off, and a lot of my comics did, of those first comics. I remember buying this at the corner store, the old creamery in Dorchester, Dot Ave there, and what was it? I forget, Crescent Ave, and but it was the old creamery. By then, it was called Patty's Pantry, and it was a corner store. You have bodegas, you get lottery tickets, Slurpees, just a corner store, and they had a spindle rack, and it was across the street from the Dorchester Neighborhood House, which I think that was its name, the Ollie, or was that in Southie? I don't know. It's been a long time, but no, the Ollie was in South Boston, I think. This was where they had the day camps, and my mom would send me there for day camp in the summertime. It was a bus camp, and they would feed you, lunch, and just you go swimming at a local pond, and you see the same kids every day, more or less. And I would spend my money on comic books from that corner store at 8 years old, from 1981, from that summer of '81. All that music too. I mean, gee, I was 8. I wouldn't be 9 years old until November. And so I'm 8 years old reading this funny book. And I told Klaus Janson before he found this, I was like, yeah, you had this one panel. It was Kirigi the Ninja, and he was the leader of the Hand. And Elektra was only in like 18 issues at this time. This is a Frank Miller issue, and I got Klaus Janson to sign it. And but I had this, Just I run, and then like the opening page of Elektra in pose doing yoga, and then in the next one in silhouette, she's in the shower changing or behind the screen. And then Matt can't see her anyway, but Matt can see that because of his sense. And look at this. This is pulpy and romantic. Look at that moment right up there. This is and that the way Klaus Johnson inks this page is the way this page moves, and he keeps that going on in the entirety of the body of his work, regardless of who he's inking. I mean, and these are the ads for me at 8 years old. Look at this, the old Mecco figures. I think those are the Mecco figures, are they? Yeah, they had Paunch. Remember selling grit? But here it is. I pointed this out to him after I was like, remarkable. The three of us with one stroke. I just, you know, meanwhile at Oh Funky Oddities, you know, this was like great. I was so into Daredevil at this time. And I told him about this panel. And then I came back with The Dark Knight and then found this real quick. And I was just like, I made a beeline to the long box, and I found it, PDQ. And I apparently have some like magic or luck with long box diving. I find the things I want. And how could I not recognize that cover from right off the bat? So this is Daredevil 175. I got signed by Klaus Janson, and I said, thank you so much for reuniting me with an old friend. And he had, even under his mask, he wore his mask the entire time. He's an elder man. He had the biggest smile, and just, it was a great moment with one of my all-time favorite comics creators. And then me and Brian, we went up to Larry Hama of G.I. Joe, and just gushed. And I was like, I was 9, he was 8 in 82, and we were totally Generation 1 Hasbro G.I. Joe. And we both had subscriptions in the mail to G.I. Joe. And so I got Larry Hammond to sign one of the issues that came to me in a brown paper mailer from Marvel Comics when I talked my mother into giving me a subscription to G.I. Joe. And he signed it to me, and he was really pleased with the stories. And I was like, yeah, I remember I was with him, pointing to Brian. We went to Brigham's after Return of the Jedi. It was 83, and I had just got issue 21, and it was rolled up in my back pocket. And if I only know now, and if you know what issue 21 of G.I. Joe is, it is like one of the most iconic issues ever. What was it? Silent Intrude or Silent Interlude. It was just this dialogueless, it was just action of Snake Eyes breaking into a Cobra's headquarters to rescue Scarlet, and on the way out, he meets up for the first time with the Cobra Ninja in white that we know as Storm Shadow. And during the battle, they both have their ripped clothes, and they can see that each other have the Arishika Kage red iconic tattoo on their forearms. Therefore, they know that this rivalry was meant to be. Something like that. It's just it was like Snake Eye. Well, I think that might have been Storm Shadow's first or second appearance. Put it in the comments. But yeah, this is literally my Wicked Boston 2002 comics haul. This is what I brought home. This is the stack of comic books. This was approximately $102 worth of old comic books over 7 floppies. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have owned every single one of these issues with the exception of DC Presents number 87. This is for me. This was my prize. I found it. This was I wanted this. I got it. Yeah, and that's what it feels like to be a comic books fan. I had so much fun hanging out with Brian, walking around the same circle over and over again, talking to this one and that one. I got a chuckle out of Simon Beisley. I got to thank Sean Gordon Murphy for his interview with Perch, which is a wonderful interview, and also his art over the years. And I shared with him that story about 2015, how I was cosplaying as Captain America and brought him some power bars because I had asked him on Twitter, in 2015, hey, can I bring you anything? And he's like, yeah, some power bars, energy bars that I got at like the local GNC in Harvard Square. And I said, well, I hope that someone told you that Captain America dropped you off your bars. And that was a nice moment I had with Sean Gordon Murphy. And yeah, with Larry Hama, Klaus Janssen, and all the cosplayers. I'm so thrilled to see all these cosplayers, all of these young people. Dude, I'm almost 50 years old. I'm 49. I'm G1 Star Wars. I mean, that's 1970s, 1980s. These were young people, 21st century people. And I can see that the love is there and that the torch has been passed. This torch of fandom. And I feel so blessed to have been around these young people, these cosplayers, all the Harleys, all the Poison Ivies. There was the Full Metal Alchemist that Brian pointed out because I thought it was Azaku. There were a lot of Mandalorians from some Sabine Wren to a really good little person. He was looked about 3 or 4, and he was pitch perfect in a homemade Boba Fett from Book of Boba Fett. Actually from Mandalorian, that last season with the black underneath it, when with the fresh paint job and the black skirting. But he was a little guy. He was barely 5 or so, but still, I mean, that was awesome. And then the other Mandalorians in the black and white armor, and Boba Pat, who had the Boba Fett helmet that was painted white with red and blue for the old New England Patriots helmet logo. This is the shit that happens at cosplay and at cons. This is where you see this stuff. The Star Wars cosplayers, there was a group of them, and they changed costumes. I say, hey, Jaina Solo, and she's like, yes, way to go. And then I see her in an Imperial garb later. She's like, I switched sides. That was so cool. I got a picture with Ahsoka Tano. They had a really, really awesome Rey. I hope she got lots of pictures too with lots of the young people. Kids. There were kids there. There was just lots of people. It was good to be in a Comic-Con. Just, yeah, that is my culture. That is what it is for me to be a fan and part of fandom. I'm looking forward to the next 2 cons I'm doing this summer. I'll be in Hartford, July 15th, 16th, and 17th, going to the Connected Con. And I'm going to meet up with friends. We're going to have a mini meetup. And we might even cosplay. I want to iron this out with the crew. And would anyone like to cosplay? You can come aboard too. Hit us up on Twitter if you know the familiar faces. Also, the same gang is. I put a tweet out today if you want to see it. It's about August 12th through the 14th is the Fan Expo here in Boston at the Seaport. That's the big Boston con, and thinking about starting up a posse and going up to that too. So why not? Where it's a great time to have mini meetups and to get to conventions. And now I'm going to be, what else do I need that I'm going to pick up at these cons? And how many more autographs can I get? And maybe I can cosplay. I got a full-on Robin. I got a full-on Captain America. I got Tyler Durden from Fight Club. I mean, I would love to have a Marla. You know what I mean? That would be very cool. I would love to be Destro, and a Destro with a Baroness. That would be awesome. I have cosplay dreams, and these young people really inspired me, and that is a great feeling. That is the mutual love. This is what Cuba Gooding Jr. said in Jerry Maguire. The Quan, the love, the money, the fame, the everything. And he always had this kind of halo behind him of light. And Jerry Maguire, check it out. Good movie. But thank you so much for tuning in. This has just been my comics haul from the Wicked Boston 2022 Comic-Con that happened yesterday, Saturday, April 9th. And I had great company in my original best friend, Brian Massey. It was his birthday, and so we got to celebrate his birthday. We got to see some legends. I got some autographs. I got to have moments with these creators. And next time I'm bringing business cards for my YouTube station, and hopefully I will get to earn their subscriptions. And hopefully I've earned your subscription too. Like and subscribe if you could be so kind. I make daily content about comic books with the Golden Age of DC Comics 365, where I talk about. I use this well-loved coffee table book, and I use it for its intended purpose. We're going to talk about comic books every day for the rest of the year. Tune in tomorrow, 3 p.m. Tune in today, 3 p.m. U.S. Eastern. Tune in tomorrow, 3 p.m. U.S. Eastern, where we're going to talk about comic books. I'm an ordained minister. We get spiritual here. I'm a professional chef. I talk about cooking a lot. I've got playlists for all of that stuff. So check out my channel, like and subscribe. Thank you. God bless. See you in the funny pages. See you hopefully in Hartford or here in Boston again in August. These are the cons I'm going to. So, hit me in the comment section. Would you like to, get something to eat and, hang out? We do mini meetups. We go out for movies. So, you are welcome. Let us know. Cheers. Good luck. Namaste.